Well, if you're scared of flying, the next 90 minutes are going to do nothing to allay those fears. And you can thank James Follett for that. Anything that can possibly go wrong, goes wrong for Flight 510.
Listening to Station WNYA, time 8 p.m. Still no sign of an end to the JFK fuel operative strike. Union boss Jim Ryan is now threatening Transair flights unless Mayor Cohen intervenes. But it now seems certain that Brucey Mansion won't be drawn into the arena. Air temperature 47 and steady. It's a cold November night in New York, with Queens and Brooklyn getting their first snow flurry. So here's old Blue Eyes to warm us up.
Strangers in the night,
Yes, mate.
they're thinking monsters, wandering in the night. What were the chances?
Okay, I'm coming.
For the night.
Everett?
Captain Everett, this is the hotel switchboard. I have a call for you from Kennedy Airport.
Hold it, I'm dripping.
Captain, this is operations.
Look, hold on a second, just got out the shower. Yes?
Are you ready for your flight plan details, Captain?
I'm trying to do three things at once here. Pencil. Ah. Okay, I've got one. Right, go ahead.
Well, surprisingly, you've got a headwind component, so you've got a long flight time.
Yeah.
Flight level 330 to Gander, and then climbing to 370 for your oceanic crossing on track Victor. And then the usual airways routing. En route weather, not too good, Captain. Moderate to severe clear air turbulence for the first half of your oceanic, and a large area of thunderstorm cells from about 30 west.
Charming.
Terminal weather is not too good either. London, Heathrow, Gatwick and Manchester are all going in for a probability of thunderstorms with associated heavy rain. Winds gusting up to 35 knots. Prestwick's not much better either.
Thanks a million.
Pardon, Captain?
Oh, nothing. What level are the tops of these thunderstorms at?
35,000.
Great.
You'll be above them if you get your oceanic clearance for flight level 370.
And what are my chances of that?
Well, I wouldn't like to place bets, Captain. Newark, Washington and Boston are all pushing out extra traffic for the London Trade Fair.
Oh, thanks.
Still, it looks like a profitable flight from Transatlantic Airlines' point of view. You've got a fairly full load. In fact, you are full. 352 passengers, 4,500 kilos of freight.
Oh, goody.
Well, it eases the monotony, Captain. Oh, yes, there is something else. We've still got a fuel delivery problem with this strike. You heard the news?
Yeah, there was something on the radio just now, but I missed it. I was in the shower. There seems to be lots of atmospheric disturbance about.
I think that's local. I'll check it out. The problem is, Captain, that you're going to have to uplift JP4.
Oh, hell.
I'm sorry, Captain. There's no JP1 fuel being pumped into Kennedy.
Look,
White-cut gasoline is all we can get our hands on. Still, there is one consolation. A share out of what JP4 there is has been agreed on between all the airlines for tonight's flight, so you won't be getting much of the stuff.
how much?
Flight plan fuel, 68,000 kilos.
Oh, for God's sake.
68 tons is over flight plan. You're fine for London with Manchester as your alternative.
Now, look. If I'm going to have to feel my way along the curb among the thunderstorms on my track Victor, and have to contend with them on arrival, I would like at least another 30 or 40 minutes holding fuel.
Sorry, Captain, but it's flight plan fuel or nothing.
Okay. Now tell me the good news.
I'm sorry?
Well, surely you have some good news after all that. Severe, clear air turbulence, thunderstorms, and JP4 in my tanks. It is only a few squirts.
Were you expecting good news, Captain?
Oh, forget it. I'll see you in the operations office.
Mary, will you please stop fussing?
The air tickets, Ted. Are you sure you transferred them to that suit?
Well, sure, I'm sure.
Well, show me, otherwise I'll worry.
Look, honey, passports, tickets, travel checks, hotel reservation, £100 in English money.
Oh, let me look at the money, Ted.
Well, what is this? Don't you believe me?
Oh, I'd just like to see what it looks like now.
Well, there it is, all in different colours.
Ah, they don't have 10-shilling notes anymore.
You Didn't have to wait all this time for a trip home, honey.
Oh, I didn't want to go without you. And you were always too busy. Anyway, I stopped thinking of it as home years ago.
Hey, what do you suppose English girls go for now instead of nylons?
Well, I'll tell you one thing they don't go for. Something you've got now that you didn't have then.
Money?
Middle-aged spread, my sweet.
Why, you little minx, come here. It's going to cost you.
Oh, no, Ted, stop it.
Getting old, am I?
I didn't say that. Oh, Ted, put me down, you idiot. Joanna and Trevor will be here any minute.
You're not so light yourself.
Look, Ted, Joanna
Think I might shake the English reserve?
They're not reserved.
Nor am I. Excited?
For the 1000th time, yes. Oh, that's them. Now stop assing about and put me down.
Apologize.
They'll hear us.
Open it.
Not like this, Ted. We must look ridiculous.
Go on, you can reach the latch.
Oh.
Good evening, Miss... Oh. Are we interrupting something, Mr. Jackson?
No, come in. Good evening, Joanna.
Good evening, Mr. Jackson.
Hello, Joanna, Trevor. All right, Ted. You've proved your point. Now put me down.
Just proving something to Mary. Come in, you two.
Thank you.
To yourself, more like.
Does he make a habit of that, Mrs. Jackson?
Thank God, no.
If you did, Mr. Jackson, I'd have to think about increasing your life insurance to protect your UK division.
You'll be the one who need increased insurance if you didn't bring those exposition plans.
Oh, you're not going to talk shop on the flight.
7 hours is not to be wasted, Mary.
I've got everything. The plans, copies of the Ministry of Defence contracts for the Hotspur guidance system for your approval, and growth forecasts for the next 3 years.
Don't worry, Mrs. Jackson. We'll plan your assault on Oxford Street and Bond Street.
Well, if you people are ready, I'll give you a hand with your cases. We've got a taxi waiting.
I tried to tell her if you're planning on buying a lot of clothes in London...
I can't really believe I'm going back.
But Trevor said you hadn't been home since you were married.
1947. I was a GI bride. Married the same week as Princess Elizabeth.
Didn't you get terribly homesick? I've only been here a week and I can't wait to get back.
I was ill with it the first year.
Come on, you two. This is the era of women's lip. Grab a valise each.
Excuse me, miss.
Just a minute, Captain. No, Mr. Pullen, your trunk definitely has not arrived from Grand Central. The bellhop will bring it up to your room as soon as it shows up. You're welcome, sir.
What have you done with my crew?
Oh, yes. They checked out before their wake-up call. Your flight engineer wanted to do some last-minute shopping. They said they'd be back in time for the airport pickup.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Captain. Have a pleasant flight home.
Hello, Skipper. Getting worried about us? It's all Taft's fault.
Hey, look at that, Captain. 2 Batman suits for the twins. $15 each.
Well, I shall keep them on the flight deck for this trip. They might come in handy.
Why's that?
Flight plan fuel with budget to diversion, track Victor, moderate to severe clear air turbulence, a headwind and thunderstorms en route and arrival, and we're uplifting JP4. Try repeating it without smiling.
I'd better keep with my wife.
The strike?
Yes, that's it. One big fuel share out.
It's what I've suspected all along. Someone in operations hates us.
I've considered having an attack of amnesia at the airport and going home on a British Airways flight as a passenger.
How much fuel?
68 tons.
Well, that's okay.
Oh, there's the airport coach.
I know it's silly, but I suddenly feel nervous.
Now, what the hell are you worried about now? You've flown all over the States last
But
year.
never over an ocean, Ted.
I know how you feel, Mrs. Jackson.
You're crazy. What's the difference between flying over land and over the sea?
But the Atlantic is so wide. That Liverpool boat took us 10 days to get here.
A crummy troop ship. It broke down about 6 times.
And what happens if an aeroplane breaks down?
Oh, I've made the crossing 20 times now, Mrs. Jackson. You'll find those Transair Orion Jumbos are the most comfortable aircraft you've ever been in. We'll be upstairs in the first class section, with a spacious lounge and a bar behind the flight deck where you can stretch your legs.
Thank you, Trevor.
It's a pleasure, Mrs. Jackson.
Oh, I wish you'd call me Mary. Both of you.
Well, if Mr. Jackson doesn't mind.
Anything to keep her happy.
We've just passed 23rd Street.
The cabin crew are now being accommodated at the Park Century. It saves Transair 50 cents a night per head. Yes, that sleazy dump on the right.
Hey, look who we've got.
Who? Oh, yes, the tall blonde.
This year's Miss Transair.
Don't get excited, Taft. We used to have her in the European division. She's a one-woman ice age.
Yes, I know the type. Reserved for skippers. You two don't sound unearthly with me around.
Oh, get him. Good evening, Charlie boy. So they finally made you up to the lofty rank of cabin service officer.
I applied over a year ago, Mr. Harman. Evening, Captain.
Fitting reward, Charlie, for all those boring hours you spent watching stewardesses burning their knickers on escape chute practice.
Flight attendants, we're supposed to call them now. The Equal Opportunities Commission.
I'm not having any committee lecturing me on bird identification. If she's wearing a blue skirt, or better still, not wearing it, then she is a stewardess. Is she married?
Who, Captain?
Miss Transair, whatever her name is.
Oh. No, Captain, but I once saw a smile at a British Airways skipper.
Oh, we can't have that. No, they can find their own.
It was a very lukewarm smile.
Yes, I shall go and speak to her about it. Dazzle her with my charm.
50p you get nowhere, skipper.
You haven't got 50p.
You haven't got charm, so who's arguing?
Good evening.
Good evening, Captain.
I don't believe we've flown together before.
We haven't.
I saw your photo in the staff magazine a few weeks ago and you were made Miss Transair.
Really? That's a coincidence. I remember seeing yours a few years ago when you were married.
Well, I was a late starter. We're separated now.
By 3,000 miles of ocean?
By her solicitor and my solicitor. Yes. My first name is Stephen. I didn't catch yours.
I didn't drop it.
I'd like to know something about my cabin crew.
Very well. I'm 27, hazel eyes, 5'10". My hobbies are pony trekking and skin diving. And if you'd read the rest of the print under my picture, you would have seen that I never mix my social life with my job.
Your flight briefing sheets, Captain.
Thank you. Anyway, I don't care if she's the chairman's mistress. That's not the way to talk to a skipper.
50p.
What? Oh, well, I've only got a fiver. I'll owe it to you. What's this? The runway 28 right vases at London, the US. See, what that girl doesn't realise is that a skipper isn't exactly that influence. I mean, her future could be in my hands.
I don't suppose she'll let you get them on anything else.
Did you say something, Jeff?
Look, you give me the fiver, and I'll owe you the £4.50.
Those localisers are still out at Manchester. What the hell are they pouncing about at there?
Well, if I'm not wanted, I'll go and start my checks.
And I'm off to the lounge for a coffee and 10-minute sulk. Oh, try and get the aircraft's present position right when you load the inertials, Pat.
Oh, cheek.
What's up with him?
Well, his bashful boy routine just came unstuck in an encounter with a stewardess.
Let me guess. The one from the European division, Miss Elaine Parsons?
That's the one.
I've heard, gentlemen, but don't quote me, that she's saving herself for the first Concorde skipper that even glances at her.
In that case, our Stevie Wonder's in with a chance.
How's that?
Oh, haven't you heard? He's bought himself a rabbit's foot and bid for the Concorde Transair have ordered.
Steve Everett, you gotta be kidding.
Straight. Him and 20 other skippers, senior to him.
Cabin pre-taxi check complete, Charlie. All galley and cabin service equipment secured, toilet doors closed, door areas clear. All passengers secure.
First class cabin pre-taxi check completed, all passengers secure.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
We're getting behind. Clearance delivery, Jeff.
Kennedy clearance delivery. This is Transair 510, IFR to London with information Tango.
Roger, Transair. This is Kennedy clearance. Kennedy clears Transair 510, Sardi 1 with Hampton transition. Information Tango, squawk 2200, departure frequency 121.1.
Roger, Kennedy clearance. Transair 510 is cleared to London on a Sardi 1 departure with a Hampton transition. Squawk 2200, departure frequency 121.1. Clearance delivery obtained, skipper. Control surfaces and spoilers.
Control surfaces and spoilers checked.
Inertials. Waypoints inserted and checked and nav mode selected. Brakes. Both checked. Normal selected.
All secured aft, Captain.
Chocks and ground equipment.
Chocks and ground equipment away.
Okay, ground. Chocks away on the hour on schedule.
Steward's report received.
Okay, ground. We're now ready for a pushback.
Thank you, Captain. I'll show you the ground lock on the port side. Have a good trip.
Isn't that the Grenadier who likes to shove us backwards at Mark 1?
We're moving, Ted.
You're going home, Mary?
No, I'm leaving home.
Where the hell did they find that ground engineer? Oh, if that's the ground lock, Sonny, hold your torch on it so we can all see it. Good lad. OK, Jeff, we're on our own. Taxi clearance, please.
Kennedy Ground, this is Transair 510 requesting taxi.
Roger, Transair 510. This is Kennedy Ground Control. You're clear to the holding point at 31 left.
Clear on the right, Skipper.
Clear left. I'm going off radio, Jeff, to talk to the customers. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Captain Everett. We're now making our way down to the holding point and will be taking off shortly. We're making a left-hand turn immediately after takeoff and flying up the coast towards Boston. Those of you on the left should have a good view of the lights of Long Island, and those on the right will have a glimpse of Manhattan.
68%, please, staff. Flaps, slats.
Flaps, slats selected to take off 20 degrees.
Engine reversers.
Engine reversers checked. Lights out. Radios. Radios tuned.
Radios tuned and identified. Kennedy VOR number 2 selected and identified. 252 radial in the window. Kennedy Tower, this is Transair 510 requesting takeoff.
Transair 510 monitor tower.
Right.
Roger, Transair 510. This is Kennedy Tower. You're cleared for takeoff.
Miss, could we have some more coffee here, please?
Yes, sir, I'm fetching some more.
Well, that was a better meal than last week.
We'll have one evening in London when I'll take you all out of the best restaurant.
Thank you, Ted.
Bring that works manager you've hired, Trevor, and his wife.
Coffee, sir.
Ah, thank you.
Oh, darling. Oh, I'm terribly sorry, sir. I'll get a cloth.
No, it's okay. This'll do.
Oh, I'm awfully sorry. If you let me have your jacket and tie...
Don't worry, it wasn't your fault.
Oh, my dress!
Seems we're hitting a few pockets.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll go and get something.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
An accident?
Coffee all over, too, in row 6.
Oh, they were a bit vicious.
Oops! Oh, I was praying for a smooth trip. It's the wrong time for me. A few more bumps like that and you'll hear the rattling noise from all the aspirins I've taken.
I'm sorry to trouble you, ladies and gentlemen, but in view of this continuing turbulence, it would be advisable if you remained
he's
in
put
your
the
seats for
cabin
the time
signs
being
up.
and kept
More
your
work for
seatbelts
us.
fastened.
Oh, girls, are you managing?
We just about got dinner cleared away, Charlie.
I know, love. You should see what it's like below in the economy class. A shambles. Absolute shambles. Sorry to trouble you, Captain, but I was wondering how much longer this is going on for. I still haven't started the film.
Don't let us stop you, Charlie.
Well, it's no good me starting these old Mark 1 projectors with all this banging about. They'll only jam, and I'll break my neck trying to rethread them. Sir. Oh, dear, oh, dear. Sounds like a disaster in the bar.
You know, I think he holds me personally responsible for this weather.
There. Are you sure that'll be all right now?
Yes, it's fine. Don't worry, it wasn't your fault. Will it be like this all the way across?
Oh, I hope not. Well, if you're sure it's all
Yes,
right now.
it's fine. Thank you.
Gander, this is Transair 510 requesting oceanic clearance for Belfast on track Victor. Flight level 370, Mark 82.
Roger, Transair 510. This is Gander. Gander clears Transair 510 to Belfast on track Victor. Flight level 330, Mark 8.
330, Taff, with all these thunderstorm cells lying in wait.
Roger, Gander. Transair 510 is cleared over St Anthony to Belfast. Track Victor is 330, Mark 82. Track Victor reads St Anthony 53 north, 50 west, 54 north, 40 west, 55 north, 30 west, 55
well
north,
have
20
something
west,
to eat.
55 north, 10 west, Belfast.
Could we have our meal trays now, please?
Certainly, Captain.
Roger, Transair 510. Return to domestic frequency.
They've left most of it. Look.
Eventually you'll learn the uselessness of trying to please flight deck crews.
Oh, has Charlie abandoned the film?
Yes, those stupid projectors.
Trevor? I can't sleep because of this buffeting.
Try.
It's easing up a bit. Is it often like this?
What's the time? We're about halfway across now. Clear air turbulence never lasts all the way, but this lot has gone on longer than usual.
God, what a long slog. I'm beginning to understand the reasoning behind Concord.
Here you are. It's calmed down a bit. You see it doesn't last.
Sorry to trouble you again, Captain, but what are the chances of this lasting? I was hoping to start the film, otherwise they'll be wanting their money back.
Bit late, isn't it?
Well, we've taken the best part of 600 quid for headsets and most of the passengers are awake.
We'll be into some Q&M in 30 minutes. I'll keep the cabin signs on.
Ah, thank you, Captain.
I'm not doing it for you, old son. We have to thread our way through that little lot. Look at the weather radar.
Solid. Absolutely solid.
Some coffee, Charlie, before we're into it.
The Captain would like some coffee, please, ladies.
Oh, is the buffeting over for good now, Charlie?
Oh, I imagine so.
Then we're resuming cabin services?
No. Not just yet.
Roger, Transair 510. Your request for flight level 370, negative.
Roger, Gander. This is Transair 510, maintaining flight level 330.
Let's hope Shanwick are more obliging.
Yeah, if we're able to call them through this interference is getting worse. We've got no HF communication.
Your coffee, gentlemen. Oh, my God.
What's the matter?
I just saw sparks jumping off the windscreen wipers.
St. Elmo's fire. We're running into an area of thunderstorms.
Isn't it dangerous?
Oh, that's nothing. You come up in 30 minutes, and then we'll show you something that'll really make your hair stand on end.
Oh, no.
I'd rather tell her that the windows may have turned blue by then. No sense of humour, these girls.
Have a listen on radio, Skipper. My eardrum's being blown out. Must be building up around every antenna.
Captain, I'm getting some weird readings on the engine vibration meters for number 4. I thought it might be a harmonic set up by the pounding the wings were taking just now, but the meters are starting to creep up. It might be an idea to run a...
I felt that.
What the hell was that, Taff? Fire action, number 4 engine.
Fire action,
number 4 engine.
Number 4 engine, 8P fuel cock. Shut.
Number 4 engine, fire control handle pulled.
Number 4 engine, low pressure fuel cock checked. Shut.
Stopwatch started. First shot. Fired.
LP cock switch. Shut. 8P fuel valves, both shut on affected side. Hydraulic shut-off cock shut.
10 seconds.
Immediate action completed and checked, Captain.
Fire warning lights still on.
Captain, the aft cabin is
Hold it, Charlie, hold it.
Sorry, sir.
20 seconds.
Doesn't look as if it's going to work.
25. 26. 27. 28.
Fire second shot.
29. 30. Number 4 handle turned anti-clockwise. Second shot fired.
Warning light out. Reset and test fire warning system. Yes, Charlie?
SSB.
What happened, Captain?
We had to douse a fire in number 4.
Oh? Oh, that's what the passenger must have seen. The aft cabin stewardess reported that some passengers are saying they saw a sudden sheet of flame from the right-hand outer engine.
A secondary fire action drill completed from checklist, Captain.
What do you suppose it was?
A fan disc broke up, I expect.
Don't look so worried, Charlie. We can soldier on quite happily on 3.
Aren't we turning back, sir?
No, we've passed our critical point, old son. Taff, it doesn't feel as if there's any abnormal drag, but you better go right aft into the tourist cabin for a visual. See if anything's hanging off that might cause problems.
Okay, Captain.
Oh, and pass the word to Gander, Jeff. Looks like we're going to have to deviate left of track to avoid that lot.
Sorry, Skipper. Still can't talk to anyone with all this St. Elmo's fire.
Have you noticed that the engines sound quieter?
We thought you were asleep. Mr. Jackson's well away. It's probably a slight change in pressure that's affecting your ears. Hold your nose and blow.
No, they're definitely quieter than they were.
Oh, God, it's starting to get bumpy again.
Shall I open my blind?
You won't see anything.
Look! Lightning!
Look at it, Trevor. We must be in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Now, don't be silly, Joanna. They're flying around it. That's why the aircraft keeps backing.
Well, what's happening, eh?
Look at the lightning, Ted. Isn't it fantastic? You can see the clouds lighting up from inside.
You've woken me up to look at lightning.
You woke yourself with your disgusting snoring.
I never snore.
It's funny being so near to a thunderstorm and not being able to hear it. Have you ever seen it as bad as that before, Trevor?
No.
But doesn't lightning mess up their radio?
That's what I was thinking.
It was a fan disc, all right. It must have blasted turbine blades all over the place. There's no sign of the thrust cone and reversers, and I got a look at the front. The air door inlets are in shreds. Anyway, there's nothing hanging off the engine.
300,000 for a new engine. Oh, bang goes our profit-sharing bonus. Any luck, Jeff?
Nothing, just blasted crackling, Skipper. HF and VHF bands all completely blotted. Maybe we can persuade Robertson to stop a new engine out of Taft's pay.
Captain, we seem to be getting through our fuel much faster than we should. Did anyone look at the fuel gauges while I was gone?
Swallow it all down.
Oh, thank you.
Give it 10 minutes. It always works for me.
Oh, I never thought it could ever be like this.
If it's any consolation, this is the worst trip I've known since I started flying.
This is only my 5th flight. I'm seriously considering making it my last.
But you must have seen something, Taff. You must have been streaming off the wings to have lost that amount.
It was some minutes after the engine break-up that I went aft. If the jettison chutes can dump 10 tons in 5 minutes, riddled wing tanks could easily lose that in half the time.
How much flying time have we?
Well, the totalizer shows...
I said flying time. You're going to have to make some very fast and very accurate calculations.
I can tell you now, about 70 minutes, but I'll have to double-check.
According to the flight guide, our nearest ocean station vessel is the Arctic Vigil weather ship, 400 miles to the north.
And we're 700 miles from Shannon.
60 minutes fuel, Captain.
Thank you, Taff. I suppose that removes the burden of having to make a decision. We ditch by the Arctic Vigil. Distress calls on all frequencies, Jeff. 121.5, 2182, 8364, and domestic.
It's all right. They're both asleep.
It was VE night. Piccadilly was crammed. I lost my boyfriend and my left shoe in that order. It was murder. People were singing and dancing and going completely wild. God knows how many times I was grabbed and kissed by strangers. And then this American sergeant noticed I'd lost a shoe.
So Mr. Jackson wasn't an officer?
Ted? Oh, no. And he'd only been made a sergeant the week before.
Oh, my God, what's happened?
What the hell was that?
The wingtip's on fire! Look! On fire!
Oh, Trevor! Stewardess! Trevor, get one of the stewardesses!
It's no good, everyone trying to call the stewardesses. Sit down, Trevor, and you, Ted.
Why the hell do we have to fly with this crummy outfit? We're gonna crash.
Mary's right, sit down!
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please remain in your seats? There is no cause for alarm. Captain Everett has everything under control. Please go back to your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Where are they?
There you are. The fire's going out.
Our outer surge tanks are on
Warning
fire. We
lights
have
out,
insufficient
Captain.
fuel to reach Shannon. This is Transair flight... Oh, blast. This is useless, Skipper.
That bloody JP4. You can come off radio, Jeff. Now let's concentrate on getting down in one piece. What about this aileron, Taff? I can't hold her straight even with rudder.
And no pressure on all systems. I've got the figures for you. If we go down at 50%...
Yes, Captain. We're going to ditch in 25 minutes, Charlie. Brief your staff and get the passengers ready. Interphone is set for ditching. Report as soon as you're ready.
Yes, Captain. You're all absolutely clear about your duties.
Yes.
Good. Watch carefully for those able-bodied passengers who remain calm when the captain makes his announcement, and get them to help with the life rafts and to assist the elderly into their life jackets. Understood?
They're just like doctors. They won't tell you what's the matter.
I'm certain we're losing height.
Where the hell are the stewardesses? Miss, we want to know what's going on here.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I have your complete attention, please? This is an emergency announcement.
What?
We shall soon be forced to make an emergency landing.
Oh, my God.
Please remove ties, collars, remove dentures, contact lenses, glasses, and high-heeled shoes. Put your chair back in the upright position and stow your table. Your life jacket is under your seat.
Where?
Put it on, but do not inflate it until you are outside the aircraft.
I don't believe it. I just don't believe it.
Take your teeth out, Ted.
How are you supposed to wear this thing?
Trevor, I haven't got one.
It slipped down on my side, honey.
Do you all have a cushion each?
I can't get it on, miss.
Oh, just a minute, please, sir. Do you all have a cushion each?
Yes, thank you, miss.
How the hell am I to tie this behind my back?
Oh, no, sir, don't pull that. You were told not to inflate your life jacket.
Oh, hell.
I'm sorry.
Would you like me to help while you give out the cushions?
Oh, would you? Make sure that they're tied properly and that they don't pull that red knob.
Right.
Thank you. Sir, would you help with the life raft?
Sure, what do I do?
Well, I'll be back in a minute. Do you all have a cushion each?
Are there any life?
No, madam, the tabs must be passed around you. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Captain Everett, ladies and gentlemen, we have full control of the aircraft and will be making a controlled landing in 20 minutes. We have plenty of life rafts, and we broadcast our position to rescue services. Please, follow the instructions of the cabin crew at all times, and please study your safety instruction card.
What card?
Passengers who do not have a cushion, please hold up one hand.
Why all this fuss about cushions? Where are these life rafts?
Thank you.
Just read your card, Mr. Jackson.
Hey, Mary, what the hell are you playing at down there?
I'm helping these people. Now be quiet. And take your teeth out.
Attention, everyone. When the cabin signs are flashed and you hear the command, place the cushion on your lap and take up the placing position as shown on your safety instruction card.
I haven't got a card.
When the aircraft is stopped, unfasten your seat belts and leave quickly by the nearest exit. Leave your hand baggage.
Can't do that.
And remember not to inflate your life jacket until you are outside the aircraft.
I can't even face it.
And you, Jeff, will call take-up ditching positions over the PA at 1,000 feet, and then call brace at 200 feet and flash the cabin signs at the same time. Landing lights on from 2,000 feet for landing parallel with the main swell. Landing configuration will be gear up, of course, full flaps, 150 feet permanent rate of descent from 1,000 feet. I'll keep the passengers fully informed at all times and keep the wings parallel with the water, not the horizon. I'll rotate to nose up 5 degrees and close throttles immediately on contact with the water.
Understood.
One suggestion, Captain.
Yes?
That we scrub round the fuel jettison. We're in static. It's virtually petrol, that JP4, and we're nearly down to unusable fuel anyway.
Okay, fuel jettison deleted from checklist. All right, lads, start top of descent check.
Very clever. I often wondered what was behind these roof panels.
Just pull that red toggle on the lanyard and the entire life raft pack will lower itself onto the floor.
Okay.
Is that it? Now, just steady it.
Can I give you a hand, miss?
No, it's all right, sir. Thank you. We can manage. Please remain in your seat.
Oh, very well.
We'll carry it to that overwing hatch there.
It doesn't look as if it could hold 26 people.
You'd be surprised at their size when they're inflated.
It's all academic, really.
What is? I'll show you how to attach the inflation lines.
All this. I mean, you can never practice a real ditching, can you? We could all be dead in half an hour.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching 10,000 feet when we shall depressurize the aircraft. Try swallowing if you experience any discomfort in your ears. Oxygen is not necessary at this height, so the masks will not appear.
10,000.
Right, depressurize, Taff.
Depressurizing. Preparation for ditching check completed.
All first-class galley switches off.
Emergency water containers filled, loose equipment stowed in toilets.
9,000 feet.
All first-class life rafts in position, survival packs removed.
Flaps, slats.
Flaps, slats, selected to take off 20 degrees.
First-class cabin survival beacons and first aid kits collected and secured.
Aft cabin.
All passengers secure. Cabin preparation complete.
Forward galley.
Everything stowed, Charlie. All services off.
Steward's report.
Cabin preparation complete, Captain.
We've just passed 5,000 feet, ladies and gentlemen, and everything is going smoothly.
Hold my hand, Ted.
Sure, honey.
You haven't taken your teeth out.
Approach check completed, Captain.
Looks like these bloody storms go all the way down.
Soon find out, old son.
Trevor!
All cabin crew to ditching stations.
Something to tell your grandchildren.
It's your kindness, I'll always remember.
Don't say anything.
Landing lamps.
Landing lamps on. Bloody hell. Hey, what's the matter with the radar?
Hell, look at that water.
Yes, I've looked. Worrying about the radar takes my mind off it.
1,500 feet. Cabin fully depressurized and resealed for buoyancy. Ditching check complete.
1,000 feet, Jeff.
This is the first officer. Take up ditching positions.
Oh, my God.
Level, Jeff. Level, that's it.
180 knots.
Parallel with the swell. Now hold it there.
4 seconds between the crests.
150.
6 seconds between crests. We'll time them across the lights when we're lower.
500 feet.
140 knots.
3, 4, 5.
Brace! Brace!
Right down, Ted. Get your head right into the cushion.
5 seconds, Jeff. Start rolling. Port down. 2, 3. Level, level. Starboard down. 2, 3. Keep it like that, Jeff. You're in perfect phase.
God, what the hell are they doing?
Trying to keep the wings parallel to the waves. Now shut up.
100 feet.
You're out of phase. No, no, no. Come on, level.
They aren't regular.
Start again. That's it.
Why don't they get it over with?
That's fine. Now keep it like that.
Can't. I'm getting out of phase.
Next crest. Steady. Steady. Closing throttles.
HP cocks shut. Hey, look at that. The impact must have torn the engines off.
Charlie!
Yes, Captain.
We've lost the engines, which might give you extra time. But don't use the aft doors for evacuation. She's settling by the tail.
If you could, sir, because it makes it easier for everyone to get through.
I'm not going to sit
Will
here.
you please sit down and be quiet?
Leave it, Ted. There won't be room in the raft.
We need those documents, Mary.
I said leave it.
We can't launch the life raft if you crowd round the exits. Please sit down.
It's going to sink. It's going to sink.
Do not inflate your life jackets until you are outside the aircraft.
Would you all please sit down? Not on the life raft, in your seats.
Is this a raft?
Yes, sir, that's a life raft pack.
Will you all sit down and be quiet? You are in no immediate danger, but you will be unless you behave in an orderly fashion.
That's right, sir.
There are lights out on the wings. They're getting them out below. Why aren't we getting out?
It's more difficult clearing the first-class cabin because we're higher. Now, will you please sit down? All of you.
No! Please, I'm not ready.
Please come away from the exit. The stewardess can't launch the raft if you don't give her room.
Come on, Charlie!
Will you sit in your
Fine,
seat?
Captain. I came up because it sounded below like you needed more help.
Oh, we'll manage.
Sit
You better get below again.
Come on, get the kids out of here.
told her to inflate your life jackets till you're outside the aircraft.
Have you seen my galley stewardess, Captain, Miss Caroline Moore?
No. Has she launched her raft?
Yes, but I don't know what she is.
Give her a hand with this one. Look, you hold the lanyard. You ready?
First class.
When you're ready, Captain, I'll count the rows out a few at a time.
Okay, I've got you. Onto the wing now. No, you won't. It's only a couple of feet. You can jump that. That's it.
We're loading raft 9 now, Mr. Davies. Do you need the spotlight on you?
Just for a minute, Charlie. Thanks. All right, now sit down and wriggle forward on your bottom. Never mind your dress.
Can't I stay on the wing? I want to stay on the wing.
Grab her, Charlie.
Where's Trevor? I want Trevor.
Now, come on, love. Just let yourself slide forward so I can up into the raft. Nice and warm inside. Just like little igloos.
Trevor, where is he?
You're holding up the others. Now get into the raft before I kick you in.
Captain, your raft number and number aboard.
Raft 10, Charlie, with 12 aboard. I can take on more if anyone's overloaded.
Miss Parsons, your raft number and number aboard.
Raft 15, 19 aboard. Have you seen Caroline Moore?
Can I help?
Don't worry him now.
Yes, you can, madam. Count the numbers on these lists. My totals are at the top. But see what you make of them. Be careful with them. A bit soggy.
Right. Is Caroline Moore in your raft, Charlie?
No.
Well, can I check for myself?
But is your raft attached?
No,
Well, make it faster. This one, for God's sake, woman. Haven't you any sense?
370.
Will you double check?
I did, yes. And your figures. You made it the same.
What's the total, Charlie?
370. It should be 371. 352 passengers, 3 flight deck and 16 cabin crew. We'll have to get each raft to recount.
No, we'll have a proper roll call. We'll pull all the rafts into a tight circle and you call out the names.
Steward Michael Littleton.
Here, commanding raft 5.
Stewardess Caroline Moore. Stewardess Caroline Moore. Caroline Moore, please answer your name.
First-class galley stewardess.
A little brunette.
Elaine Parsons is worried about her.
Caroline Moore missing, Captain.
Captain, can we have a light over here, please? Raft 15.
What's the matter?
Stewardess commanding our raft just climbed onto the wing. Tall blonde girl.
Elaine Parsons is in 15.
Stupid bitch has gone back into the cabin. Charlie, give me the spotlight.
Right, sir.
That's got it. Miss Parsons! You're to return to your raft immediately! Miss Parsons!
Do you want me to go after her, Skipper?
No, I better do it. You'll be too polite. Miss Parsons!
I'm up here, Captain.
You are supposed to be commanding a raft.
Then they'll just have to manage without me. I set the survival beacons and I made sure the passengers were all right.
Have any idea what might have happened to her?
This door was her station.
Where the panic was.
She'd got the door open. I remember her yelling at the passengers to get back. The stupid bastards, they must have pushed her into the water.
We don't know that for certain.
Oh, it's obvious, isn't it? Why didn't we have any help up here?
Well, everyone went to their stations as per the drill laid down in the manual.
You could have overruled the bloody manual. Charlie came up, you could have got him to help.
Charlie had 300 passengers in economy class to worry about. Oh, come on, before this lot sinks under us.
Well, it doesn't look as if it's going to.
Any luck, Skipper?
Oh, all we want now is Taff on board. We might even try a takeoff.
No sign of her?
No.
Well, I've organised a rotor for the beacon, so they're not all on together. Save the batteries.
Well, they last 48 hours. We'll be picked up long before they're exhausted.
Just being on the safe side. Still a lot of lightning around the horizon, so it's possible the beacons won't be heard till it's cleared up.
But you gave our position before we came down. Didn't you? You said over the PA that search and rescue had been notified.
I said we had broadcast our position. But it's certain we weren't heard.
Oh.
Well, our HF and VHF was completely obliterated by the electrical atmospherics and the QNIMs. No, Shamwick have probably been having communication problems with all traffic. And it's just possible that they won't raise the alarm for another hour.
Well, even so. It still won't take that long before we're found. SAI aircraft have only got to fly along our route.
We are a long way north of track.
Why?
Well, we deviated slightly north to avoid some selves. And then the fan on number 4 engine broke up and ruptured our tanks. And that left us without fuel for Shannon. So we turned north for a ditching near the Arctic Vigil Ocean Station vessel.
And that's when the wing fire started?
Yes. Just gas in the tanks. And they were vented to atmosphere. It was inevitable, I suppose. The point is that we're far enough off track to add another 500,000 square miles of the area that SAR aircraft will have to sweep before they find us.
Shouldn't it be light now?
What are you doing, Ted?
Now, how do you unzip this? I want to take a look outside.
Leave it, Mr. Jackson, otherwise we'll lose heat.
I've been seasick for 2 hours. I need some air. Look at that, will you? thick fog.
Does anyone require more blankets?
Oh, could I have another one, please?
One here, please, Captain.
Everyone okay?
Fine, Captain. We've had some seasickness cases, but everyone's bearing up well.
Shouldn't we have been picked up by now?
Sometime today, Mr. Jackson.
Captain, what are the chances of running the galley burners from the battery so I could make hot drinks?
No.
Why not?
Because I say so.
I could at least try.
All right then, Miss Parsons. We'll go aboard and have a look, shall we? I think we'd better get one thing straight. You will not argue with me in front of passengers.
I was thinking of their well-being, Captain. You may not have an aircraft now, but I've still got passengers.
You mightn't have a job when this is over.
I don't know what your priorities are, Captain, but mine are the passengers.
In that case, you can move in here and help us to run things.
What?
Several passengers and other rafts have been taken ill. Now, Taff is at the moment checking the freight hold to see if this thing will stay afloat. And if it's safe, we're going to move them in here. So we shall need the batteries to run the lighting. Understand?
I'm sorry.
Just so long as we understand each other.
Still nothing. I had the aerial poking out of the window.
What are you doing with the portable radio?
Listen. It's like that across all wave bands. Nothing but noise. And something's messing up the radar.
And what about the aircraft's radio?
Just the same. We've got 10 survival beacons attached to the rafts, all squawking their heads off on 243 megahertz, and I can just about pick them up at 20 yards.
It doesn't make sense. No electrical storm would cause that kind of interference unless we're right in the middle of one, which we're not.
The only thing I can think of, and even that doesn't make sense, is that someone's operating an extremely powerful wideband jammer within a few miles of us. If the DF was working, we'd know for certain.
Why haven't we had an aircraft?
Give them time.
God, it's cold.
Coach. Yeah, it's a fog.
Yes.
It's best if you close the cover.
Odd how the swell has virtually gone. Okay, Taff. We'll start moving the sick into the aircraft. We'll keep them near the exits and have the 2 spare rafts standing by at all times.
Hey, did you hear that?
Sounded like engines.
Flares! Where's the flare?
Wait a minute. Shh. Jeff, did you hear that noise?
Definitely diesels.
Fire a flare, Taff.
Right!
Will everyone please keep quiet?
Or whatever it was, it's gone.
Oh, no.
But they must have seen the flare. God. Okay, fire another.
Right-o!
There she is!
Now, what sort of ship is that?
Who cares? Just so long as it's a ship! Over here! Over here!
Six, 67, 68, and stand your good space. Otherwise I'll lose count. 69, 70. Anyone half counted twice or not counted?
It was warmer in the life rafts. Why the hell are they keeping us on deck?
Give them time, Mr. Jackson.
370, Captain.
Thank you, Charlie.
They're all in good shape, but there's 2 women beginning to feel the effect of this wind. How much longer do you reckon they're going to keep us stuck here?
Well, if you know any Russian, you can ask this one coming down from the bridge. It looks like the captain.
What do you make of those aerial arrays, Mr. Jackson?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Morning, sir.
Welcome to my ship.
Yeah.
I am Captain Kamarov. I presume the 4 rings means that you're the captain of the aircraft.
Captain Stephen Everett of Transatlantic Airways. We'd like to thank you for picking us up, Captain. Most grateful.
I am extremely sorry that you have been kept waiting, but my men have been busy arranging your quarters. We had to clear out our entire sea deck to make room for you. That is why we have so much deck cargo.
Have you, finished your count, Captain?
Yes, everyone is present. You speak good
English. Please, keep your passengers as they are in manageable groups. My men will show them to their quarters.
Come on, go get you down.
No, one group at a time, please.
Trevor, memorize everything you can about those antennae. You do the same, Mary.
What for?
Just do it.
Captain Everett, would you accompany me to my cabin, please?
And then the wing caught fire. Fumes from the damaged tank, I suppose. Anyway, we were gradually losing what control we had, so we had no choice but to ditch before we reached the weather ship.
Ditch is a new word for me.
And a new experience for me outside a simulator.
These documents?
That's load sheet and passenger list. Oh, that's the load sheet.
What does PAX, PAX mean?
That's passengers.
Passengers. 352?
Yes.
3 flight deck crew and 16 stewards and stewardesses.
Yes.
Which makes a total of 371. My men counted 370. They will have to count again.
Well, a stewardess was lost after ditching. It's thought she was pushed out of the exit by panicking passengers.
I see.
You have a motorboat picking up debris.
As soon as everything is cleared up, we will get underway.
I'm surprised you bother.
Life rafts are a navigation hazard, Captain. One could become entangled around the propeller.
I see. I'd be grateful if your men would recover the flight deck voice recorder before we leave. There'll be an inquiry and the recorder will be
That won't be possible.
Why not?
I am not prepared to risk my men in any...
There is no danger of an immediate sinking. God, it's remained afloat while you made up your mind whether or not to pick us up. It'll stay afloat for another hour.
I picked you up immediately, Captain.
Oh. But it must have been the Marie Celeste we heard. Yes. Except I didn't know the Marie Celeste had diesel engines.
Believe me, Captain, this ship is more of a reality than the Arctic Vigil, which left her station last week. She is now in Reykjavik.
Then my ocean station vessel information was out of date.
Either that or your story was not properly researched.
What the hell are you suggesting?
It is what my superiors are suggesting. They think that it's extremely odd that a transatlantic flight should be this far north.
Look, I've told you, we were put on the most northerly route, track Victor. I deviated slightly north of track to avoid an area of thunderstorms, and then I flew due north after our fuel loss. Well, if you recover the voice recorder, you'll hear for your...
Captain Everett, whatever it is that you're so anxious to prove to me does not matter. But the suspicions you have aroused most certainly do.
No idea what you're talking about.
This is a peaceful oceanographic survey ship, one of several operated by my country. But your country and the United States always seem to think that we have a military purpose.
Oh,
my superiors naturally have to suspect the worst first. That you were diverted specially to investigate the whereabouts...
All the stupid things I've ever heard. Well, you're crazy. Do you honestly think that an airline, my airline, any airline, would risk nearly 400 people to take a look at a ship?
What risk was there in diverting a few hundred kilometers north, Captain? You have the range. Isn't it so that the DC-10s, the 747s, and Orions can fly Los Angeles to London in one hop?
Yes.
Nearly 1/3 of the way around the world.
Look, we took off from New York with flight plan fuel. Just enough for London with Manchester diversion. 68 tons of fuel, that's half our total capacity. We didn't have the fuel they're messing about. Look, it's all there on the load sheet. Fin tank fuel, wing tank fuel, taxi fuel. Well, add it up if you don't believe me. No airline fills their tanks to the brim if it's not necessary. There's no point in burning fuel to hump fuel about that won't be needed.
It is not a question of me believing you, Captain.
Mate, I don't know how you operate, but my government does not use scheduled flights for espionage. They have no control over us.
Really, Captain?
Yes.
Well, that seems at odds with this information I've just received. Last year, your government purchased Transatlantic Airways.
Yes, well, we were in financial trouble.
Socialism to the rescue of capitalism, eh, Captain? Your government have also provided the cash for the Concorde you are taking delivery of next year. Am I correct?
So what?
So it would seem that your government have considerable influence over your company.
There's no point in arguing with you. Despite all this talk of closer friendship these days, you still have all the old suspicions and prejudices.
Not me, Captain. I am a scientist. But I can well understand the feelings of my superiors when I read you the names on your passenger list. You have an American on board, Edward Jackson, the head of international company involved in military electronics.
For heaven's sake.
Plus, Trevor Deacon, managing director of his British company, the sort of man who would know what to look for if this was a certain type of ship.
I think you're mad. I think you're absolutely raving.
Cautious, Captain Everett, which is more than I can say for you. You were the one who risked the life of your passengers, not me. I only hope that the failure of your mission will not lead to an inquiry.
If you choose not to believe a word of what I've told you, that there's nothing I can do. But I'll tell you this much, Captain. As the skipper of an airliner, I was the one who was in charge. Not some commissar in an office thousands of miles away. Now, you may understand the English language, but there's one hell of a lot that you don't know about the English.
The decision to pick you up was mine and mine alone. I was ordered not to.
What? Well, I'm sorry, but... well, you didn't say.
We will both be in trouble, Captain. In 20 hours, you will be transferred to a merchant ship and taken to Iceland.
We've got this entire deck for ourselves, Captain. Now, I suggest that you, Mr. Davies, and Mr. Harman have this cabin.
Right.
I'm spreading all the passengers and cabin crew between the remaining cabins and the main gallery, and the ship's crew are sending down mattresses.
Fine.
Will we be here long, do you think, sir?
Main gallery? What's that?
Well, some sort of hold, I think, sir.
How many in there?
Well, best part of 250. As soon as we've sorted ourselves out, I'll rig up a partition or something from spare blankets.
But they'll freeze in a hold.
Oh, but it's heated, Captain.
A hold?
Oh, yes. How long will we be on this ship, Captain?
Oh, 20 hours, Charlie. Where are Mr. Harman and Mr. Davies?
Oh, they're helping with the passenger arrangements in the main gallery. Yes, well, it's pretty chaotic in there. I ought to be getting back.
Very long now.
Haven't you got a bigger piece of paper than this?
Oh, will this do?
The first aerial, the one in front of the bridge, was a straightforward centimetric radar dish, right? Like this.
About 6 feet in diameter.
Did you get an idea of its waveguide dimension?
Too far off.
Did anyone?
What's a waveguide?
The second antenna array was the most interesting.
Hey, it feels as if we're getting underway at last.
The dish was pointing straight up.
And my guess is that it's for satellite tracking, either communication or navigation. It seems as if the captain's in one hell of a hurry all of a sudden.
What on earth was that? It felt as if we'd hit something.
Rammed is a better word.
I was able to see everything from this porthole. They hoisted the motorboat aboard once it had cleared all the floating debris.
You picked up everything?
Yes, everything. Life rafts, survival beacons, food containers, the lot.
And then they rammed the aircraft.
Yes.
Well, I suppose it could have been a navigation hazard.
Oh, come off it, Jeff. 2 men went aboard. They'd have seen it couldn't have remained afloat for much longer. So why risk damaging his stern gear by ramming?
Well, what were the 2 men after?
I had a guess. The courier bin.
Oh, it was empty according to the load sheet.
I don't think the captain believes the load sheet. Let's move on. Next item, passenger welfare. Charlie?
They're all in good spirits, Captain. The meal was better than any of us expected. Toilets are adequate. There is one problem. Exercise.
I thought they were all too exhausted to worry about that.
There's one or two who'd like to go on deck.
Well, they can find their own way up. My God, we can't wet nurse
Have
all...
you tried going on deck, Captain?
No, why?
You can't. All the hatches to this deck level are locked. A passenger told me. I didn't believe him at first, so I went round myself. He was right. Every hatch is sealed. They were only unlocked when the crew came through with the meal trolleys.
Well, I suppose it's reasonable that they don't want hundreds of people wandering all over their ship.
Was there any explanation from the members of crew, Charlie?
They only appeared when the food was brought through. I spoke to them, but they didn't answer. Probably don't understand English.
Either that, or they've been ordered not to speak.
Or both.
One thing's been worrying me since the ramming. Kamarov told me he'd been in touch with the RAF and had told them about the rescue.
So?
We've heard no search aircraft.
Right.
Now, it's possible they're still sweeping the ocean along Track Victor. And we couldn't transmit because static was blocking RHF. But that means if Kamarov is lying and he's told no one about it, search and rescue will think we've disappeared without trace.
Trevor. Is Joanna asleep?
Just about.
So's Mary.
I think everyone is.
I've been thinking about this hold, or whatever it is we're in. You're right. It doesn't make sense. Listen.
What?
Air conditioning. Who ever heard of an air-conditioned hold?
Refrigerated ships.
This isn't a meat ship. We've agreed on that. I'm beginning to think that you were right in the first place. Those antenna arrays. The delay in picking us up so they could empty this hold and put the equipment under cover on the deck. It all adds up. I've got friends in the Pentagon who'd give their right arms to be on this ship.
They can have my mattress any day. But they wouldn't learn much shut down here.
If we're being transferred to a ship at 10 tomorrow, we've less than 12 hours to find out as much as we can.
If we're transferred.
What do you mean?
It's obvious. Put yourself in their position. Would you hand us over?
Well, that's a crazy notion.
Yes. I suppose it is. Just crossed my mind when you were talking.
Skipper. Daylight. Sun came out for a few minutes just now. I was able to get our bearings. We're still heading due north.
What does it matter? Hey, Taff, wake up.
Hey, what's the nationality of this ship that Kamarov is supposed to be meeting?
He didn't say. And I forgot to ask him. Does it matter?
No, I was just wondering what merchant ships operate this far north. We must be making 1 degree every 4 hours at this speed.
Yes.
Anyone for tea?
Oh, you lovely girl.
All right, you needn't get excited. I won't make a habit of it.
That's what I call a welcome sight.
Is that tea?
It was sent in on a trolley. A 50-gallon urn, by the look of it.
Oh, no milk, love?
Just lemon.
Oh.
Captain, you'll have to do something about arranging for some of the passengers to go up on deck. You've got a porthole in here, but it's becoming unbearably stuffy in the main gallery.
Well, you tell me how I can get in touch with the captain, and I will ask him.
I gave one of the men who brought the trolley through a letter addressed to the captain. From you.
Oh, fine.
I said that you wanted to see him as soon as possible.
Come in, Captain Everett. You wish to see me?
Yes,
My surgeon tells me that your passengers are all well.
Yes, I would
The
like...
food is satisfactory?
Yes, it's fine.
My cook is in a great turmoil over the additional catering.
Yes, I'm sure. Captain, it would be appreciated if you'd allow passengers on deck for some fresh air.
No, Captain.
Well, naturally, only a few at a time would...
I said no, Captain.
Why not?
The surgeon has advised that they remain in the warm after their ordeal.
They were warm and dry in the life rafts. They're insulated...
The outside air temperature's 15 degrees below freezing. If I were to allow them up from below, they'd catch chills. Unlike you, Captain, I have their well-being at heart.
I'm talking about some able-bodied men and women who'd like to get a breath of fresh air. Well, you could lend them some great coats.
I am sorry, Captain, but it is not only question of the cold. We have a certain amount of high-voltage scientific equipment on deck. It would not be safe to allow anyone up from below.
Captain Kamarov, what exactly is this ship?
I have already told you. An oceanographic survey ship.
Then why is it festooned with complicated aerial systems?
Until our program was interrupted, we were using towed sonar instrument packages to map the ocean floor. The aerials are for tracking satellites to enable us to fix our position to within a few meters. Accurate navigation is essential for oceanographic survey work just as it is for transatlantic flying. The name of this ship is the Novi Meier, which in English means the New World, the world beneath the waves. Now, if you will excuse me, I have work to do. The coxswain will escort you back to your quarters.
Now, here's another one.
So that makes a line right down this side of the hold.
Which I make 50 paces long.
50 paces. About 150 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. This is interesting.
Yeah, I've already seen it. It looks as if this entire floor section is some sort of elevator. You better add it to the sketch.
Curious and curiouser.
Hmm. 12 o'clock. So where's this ship? You can't move that pawn. You'll be putting yourself in check.
I'll have your night, then.
You definitely said 10 o'clock.
Definitely. Your move.
Why didn't you ask him what the ship was?
He's not the friendliest of souls.
Hmm? You said he was quite reasonable.
Well, he's not. Your move, old son.
Right.
It's not locked.
Could, we have a word with you, please, Captain?
Sure. If it's about the non-appearance of the promised ship, I know no more than you.
Do you, trust Kamarov?
Well, I don't particularly like him, but I see no reason why I shouldn't trust him.
He, told you 10 o'clock.
So, something's gone wrong. It happens.
Trevor here and I have been discussing what this ship is. At first, we thought it was one of the spy ships the Soviets maintain in the North Atlantic to monitor naval signals traffic. But we've changed our minds.
Then what is it?
Miss Parsons told us that you were unable to radio your aircraft's position and predicament both before and after the ditching. Is that correct?
Yes, there was a great deal of interference. Static. It blanked out our radios.
Across all wave bands. The survival beacons and even your radar was affected, right?
Yes.
It all figures, Captain.
What does?
We've made a sketch from memory of the aerial arrays on this ship. You remember that one?
Vaguely. It's a radar antenna.
And this one?
I don't think so.
It looks very much like a directional jammer. Extremely powerful, we think. Powerful enough to jam all your communication systems. But the most interesting of all is this array aft of the bridge. It looks very much like part of a missile guidance system. These dipoles and elements are dummies to disguise its...
Come off it. All this is pure guesswork.
Educated guesswork, Captain. My companies make such systems.
Oh, for God's sake. Well, even if this ship is what you think it is, which I doubt, why the hell would it want to jam
Simple. Because it didn't want its presence discovered. If you managed to get a signal out, the captain would have had military aircraft buzzing around his ears before he had a chance to get clear. He was none too happy about picking us up, remember? It must have been quite an embarrassment having us drop in on his lonely spot of ocean.
Yes, that's true. No, the whole thing's too ridiculous to even...
You've heard of the cruise missile, Captain. It's the one thing that's threatening to wreck the latest SALT talks because no one can agree on its limitation. The cruise missile makes conventional intercontinental rockets obsolete. It's a small terrain-hugging delivery system that flies at a height of 50 feet, which makes it impossible to detect. Anti-missile systems are useless against it. It's small because, unlike rockets, it's air-breathing. Doesn't have to carry such a heavy fuel load.
Nor do they need underground silos. They're small enough to be launched from a ship. The Soviets don't have the lead we have with the Poseidon. Therefore, a shipborne cruise missile would suit their book nicely.
So this is a cruise missile carrier, so what?
So it's a safe bet that we're not going to be handed over. It's also a safe bet that the captain has been ordered not to report.
This is the era of détente.
It's also the era of a massive Soviet arms buildup.
Can I ask something? The captain has kept us locked up down here. What have we seen that can't be seen from an aircraft that could worry his bosses?
We've seen things close, too. Close enough to recognize the dummy parts of those aerial systems.
It's certain. Our friends are not going to let news of their latest hardware out. Not until it's operational and can be used as a bargaining chip in the next round of salt.
All right. Now, supposing you're right, there's nothing we can do about it.
Why not? There's nearly 400 of us.
And supposing you're wrong?
We're not wrong. If you want proof, come along to the main gallery. You can see the marks on the floor where computers stood until quite recently.
How do you know there were computers?
The entire gallery is heated and air-conditioned. Only computers and people need such an environment.
I don't know. Well, I suppose I can't stop you, but supposing you are wrong.
Then we can always apologize afterwards. If we're right and do nothing, there won't be an afterwards. It's as simple as that.
I suppose I could have it out with Kamarov and...
You might alert him. At the moment, we have the advantage of surprise.
And his crew have the advantage of guns.
Either you're with us or against us, Captain. By doing nothing, you're risking the lives of 370 people. We'll give you 15 minutes to talk it over with your colleagues.
Bloody hell. And what are you two staring at?
I think they're right. Crazy, but right.
You haven't had much to say for yourself, Taft?
No, it's your decision, Captain.
Oh, no. If a decision's going to be made, then it's going to be all three of us together. I'm not carrying this one alone. No way. On one condition. No one gets hurt.
That's our intention. But there's no guarantee.
There is one small problem. Elaine Parsons might not agree.
Won't she take orders from you?
Oh, not that one. Anyway, I have no right to give orders. All we can do is ask her.
Okay, then. Let's have her in and ask her.
Never. Never, never, never.
Well, at least give us a reason.
I don't have to.
Okay, we'll ask the passengers. Most of them are in favor. I expect there's a woman amongst them who'd be willing.
It's not fair to expect any woman to do it.
We can at least ask them.
Well, it won't work. There's always half a dozen who remain in the companionway while the others push in the trolleys.
Now, believe me, honey, Russian sailors are no different from other sailors the world over. Don't underestimate yourself. If anyone could pull them in, you could.
Oh, God. Well, what do I have to do?
Quiet, everyone, please!
Trolley's at the end of the companionway.
Stand by!
Oh, will you leave me alone?
I was adjusting your bunny tail.
I'll adjust something of yours in a minute, with my knee.
Show us your equity card.
Oh, shut up.
Everyone start singing. Now!
Okay, kid, you're on. Get out there and slay 'em.
Oh, God.
Nobody moves until I give the signal.
6 of them, and 4 outside.
Oh, come on, sweetheart. Put everything you've got into it.
They're interested.
It's working. Come on, lads. You can't see her from there.
Here they come.
Now!
Their guns! Get their guns!
Okay, right.
That's it! Good! Now tie them up! Captain Everett! Yes! There's less guns than we thought. You'll have to manage with one for your engine room squad.
Right!
We're going to need at least 2 on the bridge.
Stravanovich. 075.
Да, капитан, 075.
He won't answer, Captain. One move or sound from any of you. Over there. Both of you. Place your hands on the chart table.
But why?
Check them for arms, Mr. Davies.
Why are you doing this? Why?
You were supposed to be transferring us to another ship 12 hours ago.
Okay, nothing on them.
There was a change. I'm on my way to rendezvous with the U.S. Coast Guard ship, the Emerson.
You're on your way below, where you've kept us imprisoned for 36 hours. Now move.
You're being extremely stupid. If you check this chart...
I said move.
Gyro compass. Rudder position indicator. These look like INS displays. Find you a couple of fuel gauges and you'll be happy, eh, Taff?
I suppose these are the throttles.
Looks like we're in business. Jeff, leave that communication equipment alone. We'll do as Jackson suggests and maintain radio silence until we're a day steaming from this area. We don't want Russian warships getting a fix on us.
Oh, it'll take me a day to figure this lot out anyway.
What do you make of this chart, Captain? Look, there's an English name marked in pencil. Emerson. See?
The only English name I'm interested in on that chart, old son, is Boston. Let's have a course and 95% power.
Coffee, gentlemen.
Oh, thanks, love. How's everything below?
Captain Kamarov is an extremely angry man. How do you like your new command?
Well, she's a bit on the slow side.
You still have a hankering for a Concorde?
After a ditching.
Well, it wasn't your fault.
It makes me controversial. The last thing they want. I have nightmares about reporters asking such things as, do you think you might have to ditch this aircraft, Captain?
Do you think we've done the right thing? Kamarov was raving that he was due to meet a Coast Guard ship.
You're welcome to bring coffee up here, but not your doubts. We're having trouble with our own.
What's that?
It's a teleprinter. It's been doing that on and off for the past 6 hours. Someone's trying to tell us something. Either that or we're supposed to tell them something.
Same code groups as before, Skipper, with one slight difference. A string of question marks at the end of the message.
Don't you know what it means?
No.
Why not, Captain? You have the code books?
I had them sent down to Kamarov.
Well, what the hell for?
Firstly, because I'm not a spy, and secondly, because I don't understand Russian.
Those books would be useful.
We are handing this ship back to Kamarov intact with nothing taken.
You're not being realistic, Captain. The Russians would do the same.
I don't care what you think they would do. I'm only concerned with what we do. Those books stay with Kamarov.
Now, you listen to me, Captain. If it wasn't for me... What the hell's that?
We're open to suggestions. What do you think, Taff?
It's above the radar gear.
Well, try that switch.
It seems to be some sort of warning system linked to the radar. Yes, Captain, there's something approaching us. Too small and too fast for a ship. And too slow for an aircraft.
What is it, Captain?
Well, the only Russian helicopter I've ever seen was at the Paris Air Show.
I think it's a Kamov 26.
Eh?
Well, I've got a small boy who's dotty about helicopters. He's better than walls.
He's flashing lights at us.
Recognition signal, I suppose. I wonder how far he is from his ship.
He seems to be losing interest.
Yeah, he's probably going off to fetch his mates. Right. They know where we are now, so there's no point in maintaining radio silence. See who you can raise from the ship to ship, Jeff.
This is the Nova Meier, position 63 degrees 10 north, 22 degrees west. We have the passengers and crew of Transatlantic Airways Flight 510 on board. Is anyone receiving me? Over. This is the Nova Meier with the passengers and crew of Transatlantic Airways Flight 510 on board, safe and well. Position is 63 degrees on 0 north.
Well, I've never seen any reason to tell anyone.
Everson. Do you want
How old
position
is he?
repeat?
7.
Over.
My mother looks after him when I'm
Yes.
away. The father was an officer
see.
then. He's a skipper now.
Emerson.
And does he know?
Oh, yes. But he didn't want to. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. It was a long time ago.
Well, all of us are like that.
Yes, I'll tell him.
Perhaps not.
Right.
Elaine?
Yes.
Righto.
I was wondering if, when all this is over, if you...
I've contacted someone, the U.S. Coast Guard ship Emerson.
Emerson?
That's the name that's marked on the chart.
What did they say?
That they've been hanging around 66 North for this ship to show up.
Oh, bloody hell.
Our nearest ship is an Icelandic gunboat, which is on her way to pick us up and take us to Reykjavik.
The Emerson.
Well, what's the matter? Isn't that good news?
Skipper, it seems we've stirred up a major diplomatic incident. They want us into the ship's lifeboats and our rafts immediately. I think you'd better speak to them.
That's enough in that boat, Charlie. Okay, lower away.
All life rafts inflated and launched, Captain.
Okay, Taff. Start loading your passengers.
Mr. Jackson, I'll have that envelope, please.
What's the matter, Captain?
That envelope, please.
Now, wait a minute. These sketches are...
I know what they are. Will you give them to Captain Kamarov, please? Otherwise, you'll be left behind.
Now, you listen to me, Everett.
I mean it, Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Are you ready, Skipper?
You better have these guns back, Captain. I'm sorry about what's happened.
I have lost count of the times you've said that. No amount of apologies will change what has happened.
But if only you had said something.
I did. You chose not to believe me.
You didn't tell me.
I was not given the chance.
What will happen to you?
I don't know. What about you?
We're waiting, Skipper.
Well, goodbye, Captain. Everything okay in your boat, Jeff?
Fine, thanks, Skipper.
How long before we're picked up?
2 hours.
I can't see our ship anymore.
She's altered course. That's her. Right over on the horizon.
I can hear jets.
There they are. 2 fighter bombers.
Aren't they on the wrong course to spot us?
Well, they're Aleutians. They're not turning. Doesn't look as if they've seen us.
They've seen the ship, though. They're diving on it.
Air-to-ground rockets.
Why?
Mr. Jackson knows, don't you, Mr. Jackson?
I never thought that...
Oh, you never thought.
But it's crazy they should do that. Kamarov told them on the radio that we'd handed the ship back.
And how did they know we weren't holding automatic to his head at the time?
Oh, God, look at it burning.
They're murderers, nothing but...
Are they, Mr. Jackson? Are you sure they're not following your philosophy? Act first to be certain. If we're wrong, we can always apologize afterwards. Except this time, there's no one left to apologize to. Kamarov said that he told you he was heading for the Emerson.
Where would you draw the line, Captain, between trusting a stranger and being just plain gullible?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Is there anything you wish to add?
No. That's the whole story.
Okay. I'll get this report typed and let you see it first.
Well, what happens now?
Well, we've taken over this entire hotel. You'll all spend the night here. I've arranged for a flight to London for tomorrow. Sounds like another load of journalists flying in. Reykjavik's now crawling with them. Still, you should have a quiet night. The Icelandic authorities have been very helpful. This hotel is under tight security.
It was good of you to come out.
I was sent.
Can you send a cable to head office for me? To Smithers?
Sure. What do you want me to say?
That I'm resigning.
Well, wouldn't you like to think about it before
I'd like to get my oar in first.
Okay. I'll send it in the morning.
Smithers won't wait till morning to get shot of me.
Yeah, well, you get yourself a good night's sleep first, huh?
Captain Everett? Stephen?
Who is it?
It's me. Elaine.
It's not locked, sweetheart. Come in. Ooh. My mother warned me about girls who visit men's hotel rooms in the night. Now, you try anything and I'll scream.
You're drinking.
Oh, why should I worry about the 8-hour rule? I won't be flying tomorrow, or ever again.
The operations manager asked me to give you this telegram. He thought it might be important.
They beat me to it.
What?
Oh, nothing, my sweet. Nothing.
Something's been worrying me.
That makes two of us.
I know I should feel terrible about what happened, but I don't. It seems that somehow it was all a dream, that it never really happened.
Have you got a mole just above your navel?
How much have you had?
Well, have you?
Well, yes.
Then it happened.
Aren't you going to open your telegram?
Oh, what's the point?
I think I know what's in it. I'm sorry. None of it was your fault. The passengers have got up a petition saying
it doesn't matter now. I've got enough saved to open a model aeroplane shop.
Richard would like that.
Richard?
My little boy.
Are you, by any chance...
I once resolved never to marry a pilot. Too many of my friends have to sit at home while their husbands are off on 16-day trips.
I don't believe it.
Show me. Subject to findings of inquiry into loss of TA 510, you will be required to commence Concorde training upon your return. Smithers. What's the matter?
I don't believe it.
Isn't that what you wanted?
Well, I don't know now, not after what you just said about not marrying a pilot.
Well, look, Steve, you're not going to be away for 16 days at a time skippering a Concorde, are you?
In Jumbo by James Follett, Captain Everett was played by Nigel Lambert, Elaine by Eva Haddon, Harman by Leslie Heritage, and Charlie by Haydn Jones. The Stewardess was Deborah Paige, Ted, Alan Tilvern, Mary, Jean England, and Trevor, John Levitt, with Rosalind Adams as Joanna, Trader Faulkner as Kamarov, and Clifford Norgate as the operations manager. Jumbo was directed by Graham Gauld and was first broadcast as a Saturday night theatre presentation in March 1976.